sport, with the current and reigning Olympic champions Gabriela Papadakis and Guillaume Cizeron coming from the home nation. And indeed, Gabriela and Guillaume, although no longer competing, have been involved in the program choreography for some of the competitors competing here in Angers this weekend. The women in the women's short program were fortunate enough to have the input of Gabriela Papadakis. And the ice dance team, Evgenia Lopareva and Jeffrey Brissaud, were students of Guillaume Cizeron, who choreographed the short dance for the team, which we will see coming up as we look ahead to seeing the judges and the officials who will officiate over this rhythm dance. And the rhythm dance this year, for both juniors and seniors, must come with music choice from the 1950s, 60s or 70s. And they're the starting order with 5 teams to compete in this first warm-up group based on a world ranking and a world ranking points. And it will be Charline Guignard and Marco Fabbri, the reigning world bronze medalists, who round out the competition. But as I say, all of the teams have to perform to music from the 1950s, 60s and 70s. As we see the judges who will decide upon how well they have interpreted those dance styles. And the Ice Dance Technical Committee this season have explained to the teams, the coaches and the choreographers, that they should be using social dances and styles from those 3 decades, and the required characteristics are of high energy couple dancing, which is identifiable from those decades.
Representing France, Natasha Lagouge and Caffa.
And the first of those 3 French ice dance teams, 24-year-old Natasha Lagouge and 26-year-old Caffa. And then to 2 24-year-olds, Marie Dupayage and Thomas Nabais.
Representing United States of America, Bratti and Somerville.
And then to Emily Bratti and Ian Somerville, the first of the teams from the United States of America, followed by their compatriots, Eva Pate and Logan Bye. And then to former world junior champions, Katerina Mrazkova and her brother, Daniel Mrazek. Two French teams, 2 American teams, and as I say, the former junior world champions from the Czech Republic, Katerina Mrazkova and Daniel Mrazek. And you can just see behind the graphic on screen the skaters warming up. And this, an ice dance warm-up notorious for being a difficult place to be as the skaters traverse the ice at high speed. As you look to see Natasha Lagouge and Caffa, a team that represent France but train in Helsinki in Finland with their coaches Maurizio Margalio and Neil Brown. And they're working through the pattern dance type step sequence, and that must comprise of steps from the Paso Doble, which was a compulsory dance known by skaters worldwide for almost 100 years.
Marie et Thomas sont licenciés au club de Villard de
And then
Lans
to Marie Dupayage, Thomas Nabais. This team, actually after the first 2 competitions this season, decided to change part of their rhythm dance music. They sensed that it felt too dark compared to other teams. And now they're using Love Is All for something more colourful and dynamic for their rhythm dance.
Third last year, the French National Championship, and recently took the first place at the Ignatrans Trophy. From France, Marie Dupayage and Thomas Nabais.
Émilie et Yann
And then to
avec Gretchen
Emily, Bratti and Ian Somerville.
Ils sont médaillés de bronze au championnat américain
Team that
2024.
have
Ils ont terminé deuxième des Challengers Série
been
Budapest
very
Trophy
busy
en
of
ce début
late.
de saison et septième du Grand
Competed
Prix ESU Skate Canada.
last week at Skate Canada.
Représentant les États-Unis d'Amérique,
We're
Émilie Bratti,
ninth of the
Yann
10 teams there.
Somerville.
And they will be eager to push closer towards the top 5 in Angers, France.
They earned a third place at last year's US National Championship and recently finished second at the Budapest Trophy. From the United States of America, Emily Bratti and Ian Somerville.
Eva et Logan s'entraînent avec Pasquale
And then
Camerano et Igor
Either
Schliban.
Pate and Lagouge and Bye.
Ils ont remporté
They
la
competed
médaille
here
de bronze
2 years ago. They were
du
5th
Challenger Série de
in
Nice en ce
Angers
début de saison.
2022 at the Grand Prix de France
Représentant les
then.
États-Unis d'Amérique, Eva
And they're
Pate,
just working
Logan
through
Bye.
the sequential twizzles. Some changes to the criteria for the twizzles this year for the teams.
They placed fifth at the US National
And that
Championship
dictated
last
by
year,
the
and
International
most
Skating
recently
Union's
third
Ice
at the
Dance
Lake
Tech
Placid
Committee.
International Ice Skating Competition. From the United States of America, Eva Pate and
They
Logan
competed
Bye.
at the Trophy Métropole in Nice. They were 3rd there, returning to France again now.
Caterina et Daniel sont frères et sœurs. Ils sont entraînés par Matteo Zanni.
As we look
Ils
to
sont
another
le
team
premier
who are
patineur tchèque à remporter le titre de champion du monde
busy,
junior
busy,
en porte
busy
sur
this
glace,
season. Katerina
deuxième
Mrazkova
du championnat d'Europe
and her brother
et
Daniel
13e du
Mrazek
championnat du monde 2024. C'est leur
competing
deuxième
at
Grand Prix
multiple
ESU de la
events, a
saison.
team with high
Représentant
ambition,
la République
eager
tchèque, Katerina Raskova,
to move
Daniel
towards the top
Mrazek.
echelons of the sport at the senior rank as they did so brilliantly in the junior
Mesdames,
rankings
messieurs,
2
il
seasons
faudra
ago.
l'échauffement.
Skater, there's 1 minute remaining in this warm-up. Caterina and Daniel train in Egna Bolzano, Italy, with Matthew Zani. They are the first Czech ice dancer to win the ISU World
And the ground
Junior
announcer just
title
explaining
in
that
2023.
Mrazkova, Mrazek
Recently placed
train with
sixth at Skate America.
Matteo
For the
Zani and
Czech
Barbara
Republic,
Mrazkova and Katarina
Mrazkova
Müller
and Dani Mrazek.
in Italy, and that another hotbed of talent and work. There really are so many emerging ice dance academies throughout the globe, all very eager to create the world's best. Maurizio Margalio, the coach there, part of the emergence of Finnish ice dance as well, and the centre of excellence that they have in Helsinki.
Mesdames, Messieurs, l'échauffement est terminé. Veuillez quitter la piste, s'il vous plaît. Merci.
Skaters, your warm-up has ended. Would you please leave the ice? Thank you.
So as I say, the required characteristics for the ice dancers in the rhythm dance this season, social dance styles from the 50s, 60s and 70s. And this team choosing to perform to music from the 70s, and they said this year it's all about fun for them. And Arno explained what's more fun in the 70s than ABBA. And he said that they wanted to bring feel-good vibes to the rhythm dance, bringing their style and dancing to this program.
Sur la glace,
And we'll
représentant la
continue the fun, the smile, and the connection, and the love for doing what we do.
Warm welcome to Natasha Lagouge and Arnaud Caffa.
And although Natasha Lagouge and Arnaud Caffa come into this event as the least highly ranked on the world stage, they have as much passion and love for what they do as any team competing on the senior circuit. Starting with Voulez-Vous, then Gimme Gimme Gimme. Twizzles, the first element for Natasha and Arnaud. this, the non-touch step sequence element, working through the difficult turns for the technical panel to assess the level. This the Pate dance type step element. Two difficult turns to be performed by each partner. And they are back inside counter for Natasha. Well, a great way to start the ice dance rhythm dance from Natasha Lagouge and Caffa. And wonderful to see their shared hug and celebration confirmed with a high five. And there, Arnaud just checking the dress, and I did see Natasha just pulling at that ever so slightly. So that, all the more respect then in the way in which they conducted themselves admirably, because that I'm sure will have been uncomfortable and worrisome for Natasha, but you couldn't sense that in her interpretation and her conviction to the expression of the ABBA rhythm dance for the team. And as I say, a team that wear their hearts on their sleeves. I remember so vividly their exhibition performance from the past couple of seasons. Bold, brave choice. And they bring a good energy to the rink, as you can see, leaving the ice there. Perhaps the challenge for Natasha and Arnaud is that they are part of such a strong group of French ice dancers, but their coach Maurizio, he, a former world champion, will be eager to help them make a world team. And here the right forward outside edge, the entry edge for the second twizzle in the sequential twizzles. This their Group C feature, a third twizzle for Natasha and Arnaud. And here, some great head isolation as Maurizio applauds the barrier. The jump entry, a feature for the rotational lift, that coming in at a level 4. And this, the entry into the steps that are mandatory for the pattern dance type step sequence. So you have to skate a section of the Paso Doble from steps 8 to 16 and then complete their own choreography to include those difficult turns for the level. And it's just a level 1 that's been given to Natasha and Arnaud for that element. We can expect to see higher levels as the event progresses, with deeper edge set and more clarity perhaps on the turns. And 65.89 is the score assigned to Natasha and Arnaud. And they shape hearts in the kiss and cries. We look forward to seeing their free dance tomorrow. And now to the team who were 12th at the European Championships last season, Dupayage and Nabais. Skating to Love Is All and Move Over.
Love is all.
Everybody's got to live together. All the people got to understand. So love your neighbor like you love.
Slight break in the rotation on the twizzles for Marie. Really unique choice of movement within this opening to the pattern dance type step. There. Again, good choice of movement in the mandatory cross roll steps to close that element. Marie Dupayage and Nabais from France, the second French team to compete in Angers. And I sensed just a little tightness. There was a bubble within the rotation of the twizzle for Marie, and then the landing of the rotation left perhaps a little bit tight. Not maybe the run and glide that they would be used to or is conducive to a more positive grade of execution. However, the team obviously so mindful of what they need to do to make progression forwards and not scared to make change. As I mentioned in the warm-up, they've changed the music mid-season because they felt that they needed to do something a little bit more positive in its energy. And so that's just a statement. I feel such a bold statement. The skaters spend so long searching for the optimal music choice. To change that halfway through the season gives us an indication of the aspirations they have for great success. So the position of their legs, that a level feature, as was the position of their arms above the head. And then the left back outside. Here's where I saw the break in rotation for Marie. It looks like she still achieved a level 4, so the technical panel here being fairly lenient on that. Here just a chance to look at the slow motion depth of edge. Here the hydroglides. This came just after the pattern dance type step sequence, which that element showcased some unique movement choice and difficult movement choice. So electing to do body position that would be more physically exhausting than is necessary, as we see the rotational lift. assessing the performance. They will compete also in the Grand Prix and NHK Trophy in Japan. They were assigned that quite late, so consequently they withdrew from the Trophy Métropole in Nice. Their season constantly under evolution, both music and events and assignments, as they achieve a 64.003. As the positive force Karine Haribert
Sur la glace,
makes sense of the score for the team.
les États-Unis d'Amérique.
Next to skate, representing the United States of America, please welcome Emily Bratti and Ian Somerville.
And now to the first of three teams representing the United States of America, Emily Bratti and Ian Somerville. And their rhythm dance choice for the 2024-2025 season, music, Brick House by the Commodores. Starting with the midline non-touch step sequence. Looking for the difficult turns, the back counter, then the twizzle.
She knows she's got everything that a woman needs to get a man. Yeah, yeah. How can she lose with the suit she used? 36, 24, 36. What a winning hand. Shook it down now. Shook it down now.
Their trademark forward outside twizzle.
She's crazy like a fool.
What about Daddy Cool?
She's crazy like a fool.
What about Daddy Cool?
Here, the first of the difficult turns, the outside mohawk for Ian in the Pate and Dance type step sequence. And the back entry rocker for Emily, a mandatory backwards edge for that.
She's crazy about her daddy. Oh, she believes in him. She loves her daddy, daddy, daddy. She's crazy like a fool.
Ian Somerville looks more than satisfied as he takes Emily Bratti's hand to take their applause from the audience in Angers. And as I mentioned in the warm-up, the requirements for this year's rhythm dance from the Ice Dance Technical Committee are to have high energy, and that performance undoubtedly showcasing extreme high energy as Emily and Ian vie to become the top American team here. The depth of talent and quality in American ice dance is insane. This team very much a part of a group of brilliant ice dancers from America. And last week when Emily and Ian competed, they were 7th in the rhythm dance.
She's
And they had positive grade of execution on all of the elements, but they were just level 3 for both on the twizzles and a level 1 on the step sequence for Emily. So hopefully the technical panel here will have deemed higher levels for the skater so that the tech score could be higher. Here the non-touch step sequence, so that's a back inside counter, trying to showcase really deep turns to be deemed clean. There the twizzle, and interspersing the difficult turns, that high energy that I mentioned. Such commitment. Forward outside edge with that leg feature, so hard to do. As Greg Zwerlin watches ringside, one of their illustrious coaching members. And each of the slow motions shows that commitment to the interpretation, the presentation of the program. The highest, I believe, of the 3 component scores that Emily and Ian will achieve. So they're given scores in their presentation, their composition, and their skating skills, all of which for this team are good, but the presentation, so strong. So it was 71.48 last week. They have added over a point to that in France. And Emily and Ian lead the field, but they wait to see now how that will compare with the fellow American teams competing here. The first of which will be the team of Eva Pate and Logan Bye. They're 5th here 2 years ago. And they're supported here by Eva's parents and grandparents who are here to support. The first time our grandparents have been here in Europe. How proud they must be now. Perfectly phrased on the music, the twizzles. Couples can stop. 2 stops allowed, up to 5 seconds within the rhythm dance. Chance to showcase the presentation. The choreo rhythm sequence has a same base value for all the teams. It's the grade of execution which will help each of the teams how well they can interpret. Eva Pate and Logan Bye from the United States of America. I thought a really well choreographed program in regards to the music composition. They were both perfectly in time with the music, but also so mindful of some of the vocal as well. And that will be reflected in the judges' composition score. And in the presentation, the judges are assessing how the program is designed or built in relation to the music, and then how the program is performed in relation to the music, and that was evident. I thought they showcased lots of flow and glide at the opening stage of the rhythm dance, but that didn't continue to do the pattern dance type step sequence as much as Emily and Ian. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the judges assess the different components as famed coach Pasquale Carmelengo greets them off the ice. And this was so brilliant. Up until this point, they showed loads of flow and glide, really showcasing good skating skills at the start of the program into the twizzles. And each movement, each three turn was so on point with the music. And the slow-mos continue to showcase the brilliant presentation. And the fact that Eva and Logan, as Pasquale looks on, are in such a deep field of American competitors seems to just be pushing them all to greater heights. This is the difficult entry-level feature in the rotational lift. And the arms of Eva during that were in sync with the music perfectly too, so that will be another factor in upping the grade of execution. The judges' job in separating these teams is so dependent upon clarity and confidence in how they will assess them based on the criteria laid out to the judges. So the leaders have 72.81, 71.47 for Eva and Logan. Poker faces in the kiss and cry there.
Last to skate,
Reaction to
representing
that
Czech
score.
Republic. Please welcome Katerina Mrazkova and Mrazek.
And now to the 2023 Junior World Champions, Katerina Mrazkova and Daniel Mrazek. And Katerina and Daniel will choose to skate to a Beatles medley.
Who originated as a small-time act out of Liverpool, now have no rivals as the kingpins of the teenage set.
Retrogression to the midline step sequence, but great to see them exploit the ability to touch the ice during that element.
Not just anybody, you know I need someone. When I was younger, so much younger than today, I never needed anybody's help in any way. Help me if you can, I'm feeling down. In the town where I was born lived a man who sailed
Katerina Mrazkova and Daniel Mrazek. And mindful there of the brilliant music editing throughout, as Matteo Zanni, their coach, just grimaces a little bit at the conclusion of that performance. And I know Matteo is so passionately committed to his students, and my understanding is that he will take the laptop to the side of the rink and during the choreography process will be constantly editing and tweaking such that each element is perfectly phrased to the music, and that was particularly evident to me throughout the pattern dance type step sequence and through the rotation lift, the final two elements. Such is the level of detail that the coaches and the choreographers will go to do all that they possibly can to ensure achieving higher grades of execution for the elements. 5 elements for the senior dancers in the rhythm dance. And as it was with others that we've seen in this event, it was the tech score which perhaps let them down a little bit in their first Grand Prix assignment. Here, the non-touch midline step sequence, and again, opportunity to stop within the element. And as we see the ice coverage that they showcase, the leg feature, the arm feature, something that this team has had so strongly, both as juniors and now as seniors, and they dominated the junior ranks en route to that junior world title in 2023. And so often it has been the case in the ice dance community that a skater and a team has to wait their turn to transcend the ranks up to the top level. But you sense Katerina and Daniel are committed to shortcutting that conventional waiting time. And the coach also very eager to do the work necessary to take a leap up in the standings, and it'll be interesting to see how they compare at this event against the next team, the current world junior champions, Neset and Markelov, who will compete next. So 71.54, that's higher than they had in Texas 2 weeks ago at Skate America. And that confirms how tightly contested this event will be, with the top 3 teams in close proximity of one another. So as we see the standings after the first warm-up group, we look ahead now to the higher ranked teams coming into the competition who are about to be introduced to the arena in Angers. In the next group, we have other teams who are competing in their second Grand Prix for their first Grand Prix assignment, or the world medalists Guignard and Fabbri, who are the final team to compete in this rhythm dance event. And opening this warm-up group will be the 2024 World Junior Champions from the United States of America, Leah Neset and Artem Markelov. Followed by another husband and wife team, Marie-Jade Lauriault and Romain Le Gac. Before seeing Alison Reed and Salius Ambrulevicius. And then to the top ranked French team competing, Eugenia Lopareva and Jeffrey Brissaud. And then to the European champions, Charline Guignard and Marco Fabbri. So from the 2023 Junior World Ice Dance Champions, Mrazkova and Mrazek, to Leah Neset and Artem Markelov, fresh out of junior ranks. This is their first full senior season. not only are they celebrating their introduction to the senior ranks, but also their marriage, having got married in June of this year.
Léa et Artem
They,
s'entraînent avec Elena
like Mrazkova and Mrazek, competed at Skate America. They were 5th at that event, an amazing debut at their first senior Grand Prix. And that testament to the glide that they have. There you see the back crossovers showcasing brilliant flow.
Neset, Artem, Markelov.
Léa and Artem trained in Colorado Springs, Colorado with Elena Dostatny. United States Junior National Champions last year. They recently placed 5th at
And they
Skate
too,
America
like others we've
from
seen
the
already,
United
will be
States of
skating to
America.
selections of music
Neset and Markelov.
by ABBA.
Marie-Jade et Romain, après
Their
avoir représenté la
choreography
France,
to the extreme at the end of the
pour le Canada.
pattern dance type
Ils
step
sont entraînés
sequence
par
for
Marc
Marie-Jade
Fabry,
Lauriault
Patrice
and
Somerville,
Romain Le Gac.
Romain Guignard. 5e du championnat USU des 4 continents 2024.
Competed last week in Halifax, Canada. They were 7th in Skates Canada, 5th here at the Grand Prix de France last season.
Second at the Canadian National Championships last year, and most recently 7th at Skate America.
And indeed, this
From
team,
Canada,
although they've been
Lauriault
training for
and
4
Le Gac.
seasons at the Ice Academy of Montreal, their last year training in France before moving to Canada was in this arena in Angers. So nice for them to see some familiar faces and feel at home competing here.
Alison et Solius s'entraînent au
As
Canada avec Marie-France
Alison
Dubois et
Reed
Patrice
and
Lozon
Solius
comme
Ambrulevicius
entraîneurs. Ils sont médaillés de bronze des
are on your
championnats
screen.
d'Europe et 6e du championnat du monde 2024. Ils ont remporté le Challenger Series de Nice en ce début
They
de
won
saison.
gold at the Trophy
Représentant
Metropole
la
in Nice
Lituanie, Alison Reed,
and then
Solius,
returned to
Ambrulevicius.
Lithuania.
Alison and Solius teamed up in the spring of 2017.
I can vouch for the skating community in supporting the residency application for Alison as they vie to achieve Lithuanian citizenship to compete at the Olympic Games. And good to hear that that seems to be progressing positively, with Alison showcasing her utter commitment to representing the Lithuanian ice dance community so brilliantly.
Et Geoffrey sont licenciés au club de Bordeaux. Ils s'entraînent avec Roxane Pétetin, Romain
As we
Guénoër,
look to
Louis
Evgenia
Dupuis,
Lopareva
Patrice
and
Lozon.
Geoffrey
Ils
Brissaud.
sont champions de France élite en titre, 4e des championnats d'Europe, 8e des championnats du monde 2024. Ils sont
This
médaillés de
team
bronze au
too
Grand
have been
Prix
busy. They
de
competed at the
Sicile,
Shanghai
Canada,
Trophy and then to the Masters
représentant la
competition
France,
a domestic event in
Guignard and
France,
Fabbri.
where they were utilizing the opportunity to compete again in front of a home crowd and showcase this season's material, which they hope to use to achieve a European Championship medal. They were 4th at Europeans in Lithuania earlier this year, behind the team we just saw. But they're the very heavily weighted favourites, Charlene Guignard and Fabbri.
Mesdames, Messieurs, il vous reste une minute
That
d'échauffement.
said, we've seen upsets take place already on this season's Grand Prix. At Skate America, the world champions Madison Chalk and Evan Bates were defeated by the British champions Lila Fear and Lewis Gibson. So Charlene Guignard and Fabbri can take nothing for granted, but I don't assume that they ever would. They always prepared.
Charlene Guignard, Marco Fabbri.
And so seasoned, so experienced. And we have to assume that the 2026 Milano Cortina Olympic Games in their home nation will be a huge factor in their motivation to keep pushing themselves. As we see them work through the end of their pattern dance type step sequence. So the 5 elements for the ice dancers: the pattern dance type step sequence comprising of some steps from the Paso Doble, a choreographic rhythm sequence, a short lift, a non-touch step sequence, and the sequential twizzles. You wonder now how much of technique will be the information given from Elena Dostatny on screen. or whether it's just pure motivation
Sur la
in
glace,
terms of the
représentant
performance
les
for her
États-Unis
students.
d'Amérique.
First to skate, representing the United States of America, please give a warm welcome to Neset and Markelov.
So to the newly married team of Neset and Markelov, their coach described them as having different temperaments. Artem energetic, Leah gentle like water, and over the years they've learned to combine their energies in an effective way. Such good use of the blade and difficult transitional content, interspersing the difficult turns in this non-touch step sequence. Such a difficult entry into the rotational lift. Well, the crowd is excited about the kiss shared at the end of the program as some of the difficult transitional content performed by Leah Neset and Artem Markelov. And it's really so difficult to differentiate the brilliance of the American ice dance teams, but for this team, the complexity, difficulty, and intricacy of some of the transitions to me was the strongest. Really appreciated some of the content in the opening non-touch step sequence. And also mindful of how close they were in the sequential twizzles as well, which is a positive feature for the judges in regards to giving a higher grade of execution. And I'm referencing the differentiation between the three American teams, but also I have to be mindful of the competitors in this event who were all against, so many of them were against each other at Skate America. And it was the rhythm dance which was the less competitively successful performance for Leah and Artem. Their free dance pulled them up to 5th place. See how it affects them here. And And some of this content that we're being treated to on the slow-mo playback, just transitional content, and yet great use of different body movement and blade movement. Here, part of the choreo rhythm sequence to boost the grade of execution. A wonderful example of the range of flexibility and strength required to achieve the difficult feature. And their coach, Elena, described them to me as an incredibly hard-working couple, amazing people. Yes. 71.86. Leah satisfied that that is okay as they move into second place, separating the two other American teams competing here in Angers. As the skating fan twins that we see at many of the events get out their maple leaf flag to support Marie, Jade, Lauriault and Le Gac. Team who explained how much they love the Fosse aesthetic and that the muse for this rhythm dance is Rich Man's Fruit. Talk about difficult transitional content. Great music editing to highlight each of the three twizzles. Jad taking the difficult outside mohawk as the difficult turn in this pattern dance type step sequence. Marie-Jade, Lauriault and Le Gac, husband and wife team in their 11th season competing together. and how wonderful that they've taken their very own take on this year's rhythm dance requirement. So many of the skating ice dance community suspected that disco music would be the, as a baby is applauding them, the choice for the majority of teams. People feared that too many would go down the same route given the option available to them by the Ice Dance Technical Committee. And yet Marie-Jade Lauriault and Roman have really embraced their own concept, and they want to develop this Bob Fosse aesthetic throughout the season as Olympic champion Guillaume Cizeron greets them off the ice. C'est bon. He seems satisfied. This was brilliant on music, as well as incredibly difficult, and the speed and commitment to which Marie-Jade delivered that change of position, testament to how often they have worked on such difficult transitions, a team known for comfort and quality in the lifting difficulty. And I was so conscious that there was a music edit, especially when we get to hear pieces that are so well known. You can hear where the edit has been done, but it perfectly showcased the twizzles. And here, the hairography. Before concluding with the rotational lift, difficult feature that we've seen from the Muse, seen them use in the past in previous programs. And great to see the French Olympic champion supporting another generation of skaters. .54, and Marie-Jade and Roman move into second place. But as was the case in Skate America, all of the teams separated by fractions of a point, paving the way for a closely contested free dance. As we look to the European bronze medalists and Lithuanian champions, Alison Reid and Saulius Ambrulevicius, they said that they tried dancing on the floor to many songs spanning through the decades, and this gave them the most fun, skating to music by the legend Rod Stewart. Alison and Saulius showing greater speed and skating skill than any team that we've seen so far. Really difficult hold through the closing steps of the Paso Doble. Alison Reed and Stelios Ambrulevicius complete their rhythm dance. And I wondered how the team would come into this season after the emphatic success of last year. They moved up to be 6th at the World Championships. The bronze medal in front of an adoring Lithuanian crowd in Kaunas in January was a moment that just looked so incredibly exciting. A sellout crowd cheering like they were at the greatest football match on the planet. How do you top that? And yet it does look like Alison and Stelios have come back stronger with even more quality, and as I say, the skating skills better than we saw from them in the past, as Guillaume Cizeron dominates some of the camera shots here, thanks to the Olympic Championship title he took for this home nation. And while we're watching Alison and Stelios, I urge you all to check out the International Skating Union's YouTube piece, Skate to Heal, a video created in celebration of Alison's late brother Chris Reed, a former competitive ice dancer. A wonderful piece showcasing the amazing partnership that Alison and Stelios have, and how Stelios has supported Alison in that bereavement process, and how skating has helped her to heal. As we look through the Twizzles and the Roman living through the performance ringside. Here, exploiting chance to slide within the non-touch step sequence. And there, just the use of arm holds, conscious of the difficulty of some of the transitional content in regards to the arm holds between Alison and Stelios. Not an open-holded, easy choice of transitional content, interspersing the elements in the rhythm dance this season. And there, photo of Chris Reed, as always with her, in the kiss and cry. So disappointing score perhaps for Alison and Stelios, just 74.49, have achieved over 80, but they lead. Somebody's Halloween makeup looks still to be on the face of some of the youngsters watching, as the home crowd get behind the French national champions, Eugenia Lopareva and Geoffrey Brissaud.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard the Starship OEM for our first passenger flight to Venus. Ready for countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Let's go.
That difficult entry into the Twizzles. And as they work through the pattern dance type step sequence, they have to make sure the music tempo is 112 beats per minute, plus or minus 2 beats. Oh, such a difficult entry into the back rocker for Eugenia.
Alone
those Russians.
Evgenia Lopareva and Jeffrey Brissaud complete their rhythm dance, and how interesting to consider the music choices for all of the teams in the 1950s, 60s and 70s rhythm dance this season, and the social dance styles that they must skate. But whatever the judges think about the composition and the presentation, the skating skills, so evidently the strongest of any that we have seen in the event so far. The amount of flow, the glide, the length of each edge dictates that skating skills component score, and that the hook for the other two components. And I was aware that Evgenia and Jeffrey showcased the best in the very earliest stages of that rhythm dance performance. And here, the detail that goes into the creation of the choreography. And this Group C feature, difficult entry into the twizzles. And this year, the teams must have a different Group C feature in the twizzles from their rhythm dance to their free dance. So normally we saw teams doing 3 twizzles to achieve level 4 in both rhythm dance and the free dance. This year, they cannot do that, as we see them work through the difficult turns, that forward outside mohawk, the opening turn that they did to achieve a higher level. This was great. I love the musicality of that in the center of the rink. And Roman Aganar, the coach, shows no less enthusiasm for his teams, despite having created and been responsible for so many former stars as Roxane Pétetin and Guillaume Cizeron formed the other part of the coaching staff. Sigh of relief for Coach Roxane. She, an ISU technical specialist as well as coach, so she will have aided Evgenia and Jeffrey in securing the highest levels, or being so mindful of the cleanliness of their turns. So a 77.75. They were behind the Lithuanians at the European Championship last year. They are comfortably in front of Alison and Salius here. Now to the final team. We have seen already the world champions and the world silver medalists, Chuck Bates and Gilles and Poirier, compete in the Grand Prix. Now is the turn of Guignard and Fabbri, the world bronze medalists, to start their Grand Prix series campaign. The winners here last year.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Charline Guignard and Mrazkova Fabbri. I've said about the rhythm dance style must come from the 50s, 60s and 70s, but remixed and or remastered music, including cover versions, are permitted, and that a rule that they exploited for the final choreo rhythm sequence, the last element in this rhythm dance for the Italian team. And in regards to this music choice, they said that it took a long time to choose the music because there was too much option of music and they weren't quite sure exactly what social dances truly meant. And I completely understand what they're saying. Many people assumed that it would be one solitary decade to choose the music from this season, having had the 1980s as the one decade to pick for the rhythm dance last year. And so I understand the rationale behind it taking a longer time for them to choose this piece, not knowing exactly what the social dance styles concept meant, but they're satisfied that they've hit the target with their selection. It's a good choice. And given the relationship, particularly poignant the music as Barbara Fusarpoli greets them ringside. I thought there were occasions where they were slightly mismatched. There was a back choctaw where the leg extension was a little bit different. The third twizzle, the leg extension, slightly mismatched. And I only say that because Charline and Marco are probably the most well-matched of all the top teams. They're so synonymous in their movement. So we see them working through the twizzles. The match on the leg extension to the front of their bodies was picture perfect. Just a flex of the free foot there for Charline rather than the pointed toe extension that we sometimes see from them. But maybe that because it is indeed a new program, taking Piper and Paul's slide from last year and elevating the difficulty even more in the non-touch step sequence. And the difficult entry into the rotation lift, a position I'd seen them use previously, so difficult, rotating one way and then reversing the movement and the force of Charline. So difficult and done so well. And the music you hear now, confirmation that remixed and remastered music can be done. And they've made such a brilliant team, so many seasons together, and every time they compete, Barbara Fusarpoli right behind them. A coach is passionately invested in their students. You struggle to find 14 years now as a team. I can't speak Italian, but I'm sure that the ice is perhaps wet on the trousers of Marco Fabbri as Barbara anxiously strokes his knee in the hope of high score. Benny satisfied with 82.2.
Fin de la compétition. Rythme danse de la catégorie danse sur glace.
So the favourites take the title, the lead, I should say, after the first section of the competition, with Charline Guignard and Mrazkova Fabbri comfortably leading the field above Evgenia Lopareva and Jeffrey Brissaud, with Alison Reed and Saulius Ambrulevicius in the bronze medal position. Behind that top three are the skaters in such a close proximity of scores, with 1.5 points separating 4th to 8th place in this event, and that could be an opportunity for lots of movement as we look ahead to the free dance competition, which will take place tomorrow in Angers. Shortly we will see a review and some slow motion replay of the top 3 performances, but after that we look forward to seeing the men's short program and then the pairs short program, which will conclude this first day of coverage in Angers at the International Skating Union's Grand Prix of Figure Skating at the Grand Prix de France. As we look at the standings with the 2 French teams in 9th and 10th place. Marie Dupayage and Thomas Nabais hoping to do enough to move above Lagouge and Caffa. And tomorrow we'll be treated to a host of different interpretations. No doubt that whatever the music choice of the 10 teams competing here today, we have seen what the Ice Dance Technical Committee wanted: high energy performances. And less ice marshals required and necessary after an ice dance competition, without the jumping passes to gouge the holes within the ice surface, as the host federation ensures that the ice is in optimal condition for the men's short program coming up next. The caliber and quality of the ice surface at an ISU Senior Grand Prix level has to be so extreme. They will ensure that the ice is prepared supremely well. The subsequent event with 12 men taking to the ice for the short program shortly before the 8 pair teams. Chance to look back now at the Rod Stewart performance from Alison Reid and Stelios Ambrulevicius. A fairly solid skate for the Lithuanian team, who won in Nice not long ago, but they will be disappointed to find themselves over 3 points adrift of Lopareva and Brissaud. However, they have a wonderful free dance. They'll be eager to showcase that perfectly tomorrow. As we see Lopareva and Brissaud, they're the outside mohawk. That one of the steps that was mandatory in the rhythm dance for all of the teams, part of the Paso Doble, a former compulsory dance, or current compulsory or pattern dance, which ice dancers around the globe would have known for decades and decades now. It has been spliced up and interspersed with difficult turns for the senior dancers. As we look to Charlene and Marco, the Italian champions, and I cannot wait to see their free dance. The exhibition piece that they used last year, such a unique take this season. And I think an excellent, brave, bold choice for the team as they try to push themselves above Chalk and Bates and Gillis and Poirier in that battle we can look forward to seeing towards the Grand Prix final. So that concludes the ice dance rhythm dance. Make sure you stay tuned shortly, the start of the men's short program.